Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. That is Incubus. And some might call Hoobastank the Aldi version of Incubus. And they grew up in the same neighborhood. And they
mean?
No, it's not. Just they sound very similar when they came out at the time. And they had hits at around the same time. But Incubus became the bigger band. No question. But I just polluted my timeline over the weekend that Hoobastank was at the Arlington Heights Frontier Days for a free show over the weekend. And I'm really bummed I missed it. I'm really bummed I missed out on that. I saw people on our crew members page post it, and I was like, it was a far away. And I said, is this a cover band doing The Reason, or is it actually Hoobastank? And no one answered me, but I did my little deep dive in Arlington Heights and the Frontier Days, and Hoobastank did play out there.
That sounds awesome.
I know. If I'd have known, we'd try to get him in on the show.
Well, it's a little bit like last year, All-American Rejects did that show at Elk Grove Village, and I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go.
Yeah, I know. These bands just kind of sneak into town, like Hoobastank was here. I'm sorry, guys, if you're still here listening this morning.
They sneak into town.
I think they do.
Yeah,
they tiptoe. Hey, everybody has Q101. Damn it.
There's like
Put a bell on these bands.
Yeah, there's like 10,000 people out there watching it, so I hope the show was good. If anybody went, let me know. Hit me up. Hit us up at 312-591-8300.
And also, if bands are coming to the burbs and we don't know about it, please tell us. Somebody just let me know that Powerman 5000 is going to be in McHenry this week.
Oh.
That's the kind of text I wanted to text line.
Did you read the rest of the bands, too? There's like several with them.
Yeah, no, it's a killer lineup. McHenry is doing it right.
Well, I got to get out there. Is it a weeknight?
It's Thursday. It's this Thursday.
Oh, boy, it's a school night.
Oh, jeez. You're not in school.
How un-Powerman 5000 of me to
know.
say it's a school night. I can't go see Rob Zombie's brothers.
For
band.
shame.
That's very sad. Good band. Okay, so July 4th was going great until blank. All morning long, you guys have been checking in on this. 312-591-8300. Earl in Hammond checked in. Fireworks went boom. Unfortunately, the boom went directly into my Ford Escape. Now I need a new car. That's
The irony of them hitting a Ford Escape
Yeah.
that just did not live up to its name or its promises in this scenario.
I almost bought a Ford Escape once. I
I had a Ford Escape.
Did you?
Yeah, it was one of my first cars.
Yeah, there's a lot of them on the road.
My girl drives one.
Is that right?
Yeah. Which I drove this weekend. I drove a car for the first time in 5 years.
What a weird...
Where did you drive it? Like in a parking lot? Did she let you do a circle?
We went out on the open road in central Indiana, and I felt like I was driving Gravedigger because I had never driven a car that was that high up before. And I got in, I started driving. I go, well, something's got to be. I must be doing something wrong because I feel like I'm near the sun right now.
That's hilarious.
But it was just a Ford
warm?
Escape. Yeah,
I'm sweating. It's hot up here.
so high up.
He rises.
Oh, to make a reference point here, that Case not only has not seen all the big movie blockbusters out there, but he also despises driving, especially in the city of Chicago. So when he goes to Indiana and there's more open space, he feels comfortable getting in a parking lot and driving a Ford Escape.
He gets to drive where the horses run.
I'm
He feels
racing
safer.
horses.
Oh, man.
That's where the term horsepower comes from, is me racing all those horses in Indiana.
How many horses does it take to beat Case driving for the first time in 10 years?
In 5.
One old horse will do it. One old horse. Also on the text line coming in, Case, what do you got there from July 4th was going great until blank?
Well, I think for Mallory in Oswego, her 4th of July was just great. I don't know if there was a but she texted in, first-time texter, welcome to the party, Mallory. She said, I wanted to let you guys know that I went to a Kane County Cougars game on July 4th, and before the fireworks show, they played the president's speech from Independence Day on the Jumbotron,
What?
and the crowd went wild.
Oh,
Amen.
my God.
Is it safe to say that they got that idea from us?
I think so, because for those that don't know, I reviewed Independence Day. I watched it for the first time ever. We talked about it last Wednesday, and although I was not a huge fan of the movie, obviously, I love this country, and so I was a huge fan of the president's speech at Independence Day.
Well, I think all of us want this to be our president.
Absolutely.
It was the most inspiring thing I've heard from a president
in many, many years.
in many years.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was touching. We played it a bunch that day because we were just trying to pull audio that made you proud to be an American, and that's one of the only things we could find as of lately. It was one of the most recent, up-to-date things, so we pulled it, and I just find it interesting that they also played that because that's a deep dive.
Well, good for the person who runs sound at the King County Cougars games. We're gladly steal from us. It's okay. You can steal that idea because everybody certainly was happy when they played it.
Now, you may be like, well, it's a popular movie. Listen, if it was Martin Luther King Day and they played the speech, I wouldn't be like, well, they stole the idea from us. Out of all the things to play on the 4th of July, I just feel like they got the idea from us.
Well,
I'm just saying.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you stealing that idea if it made people happy. And you know what?
Amen.
It's 8:58 on Monday after July 4th weekend. You might need a little inspiration to
here
get
we
you
go.
going.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July. And you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live,
Yeah, damn right.
Amen.
to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday,
Right?
but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on.
Right.
We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time to take our direction towards Cicero. Pretty big deal for people of Cicero here. So they are planning to ban after midnight liquor sales at bars, restaurants, and stores in Cicero. So the story goes as right now you can buy all that till 3 a.m. in Cicero on the weekends.
Okay.
Just like Chicago has the rules, too, of like bars, you know, if you're a 2 a.m. bar on Saturday night, you can stay open till 3. If you're a 4 a.m. bar, which there are, you can stay open till 5.
Woo!
Yeah, I've done that before. I think I'm done with that part of my life because when you walk out of the bar and the sun's coming up.
Do you just feel like bad about yourself?
I mean, I had a good time.
The
But
only place that I felt good about myself doing that is Miami. It's fine because now it's like, let's just go to the beach. Like, you don't feel bad, but it doesn't feel good here.
well, trust me, there's a Ravens Club over on Clark Street, which is not far from Fullerton Beach.
There you go.
And I've absolutely walked out of that place and gone to the beach.
There you go. Sunshine, baby.
But you know, at some point in your life, you're like, I'm not a 5 a.m. guy anymore. I'm not an all-nighter kind of guy. I'm not an overnight guy.
Well,
you know?
so it is interesting. So in Cicero, it's now going to be midnight. Like the sale of liquor, even at a grocery store or at a restaurant, bar, all of that, right? It's going to cap off.
I first thought it was liquor stores and grocery stores, but it's actually bars and restaurants too.
Wow.
Now they want to pass this because the leaders are saying that in the wee hour of the morning, this all spills onto the streets. It's training police and disrupting the community of people being loud and fighting and violence, noise, damage, of just drinking later. And then you get out there, it's 3 a.m, and then people cause some havoc.
You know what's funny is, I know it's a weird lead-in, but what I imagine when I see stuff like this is, one, I feel like we got a lot of freedoms and then like nobody acted right. And now like they're slowly, like there's just more rules against this stuff now. And I imagine the plot of Footloose and how uninspiring it would be if it was about drinking instead of dancing. Like, no, we all want to get wasted. You're not going to stop us. Like, instead of like people getting together to dance in the middle of the night, if they're just getting together in Cicero to get wasted at 1 a.m. because the mayor won't let them, then it just wouldn't have the same impact.
I know where you're going with this.
Do you see what I'm saying?
And not to say sidetracked on Footloose, but at the end of the movie, it's amazing how good all those guys could dance and girls.
Because they've been breaking the law for years.
They were secretly dancing,
It would be like when you take your teenager, or not, that's wrong. When you take your 21-year-old to get their first drink. And
Nice,
they throw back a tequila shot without blinking, and you're like, I don't think that's your first one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like that's probably how the mayor felt. Like, how come you always don't know how to dance?
Well, I take the angle on this. A few bad apples shouldn't ruin it for the rest of us. You know what I mean? There's some people.
I imagine it wasn't one person who couldn't handle it.
I think the majority of people that are getting drinks till 3 a.m. are good, fine, hardworking Ciceronians.
Yeah.
That's what I think. People from Cicero, those people. And then there's people that do some bad things, and it's like, well, you know what?
That's why we can't have nice things.
That's kind of right. And also, you know, you can drink in your house then. They're going to start drinking in their house, then go out and do it. They're going to find a way. Nature finds a way. Kind of like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. They're going to find a way to get their booze and do bad things, just taking it away. And then you're hurting. Like there's a guy here that owns a bar, a woman actually, Lucy Valdez. She owns 2 bars, the Hacienda Calvarera and Luxor. says she was stunned because one of her places doesn't even open until 9 o'clock. So they got 3 hours to serve booze instead of 6. They're going to lose tens of thousands of
They better
dollars.
start to have a happy hour special.
I don't know.
At 5.
That's terrible. So I feel bad for the business owners. Once again, people have good bars out there in Cicero, and they're going to get screwed here by not being able to sell booze.
Listen, you can consume the same amount. You just have to start at a different time.
Well, some people are shift workers, too, and they get off at like 11 or midnight.
Right,
I'm going to go get a beer, get some nachos, and then I'm going to go to bed at 2 in the morning. I was a shift worker at one point, that late night person. I like going to bars really late. I used to love that.
And then you drive home? Because I think it's part of the problem.
No, I'd take a cab or an Uber.
Some of the shift workers hitting it at midnight contributed.
Someone can drink at 6 o'clock at night and still have a problem driving home. That's your problem if you're driving. You should never drive inebriated. That's everybody else's problem to figure that out. So I'm against this. I don't like it. I want people in Cicero to be able to do what they want.
The problem, maybe we'll get it back if we behave long enough, though. You know what I mean? Like
They'll
an
never.
iPad.
How often do you do that with your kid or something? Like,
They get their iPad back at the end of the week and figure that out. Thank you for putting your plate in the sink. Here you go. Maybe it's like that.
If you put your plate in the sink for 10 years, you can have your Nintendo back. That's probably what you're saying there.
Well, that's what I think that this is where this is going to go. If you guys can behave at midnight for a year, we'll relook into it.
It's a bunch of BS. I hope it doesn't pass. It says they plan to do this, but I hope it doesn't pass.
Are you going to protest?
I might go to Cicero and protest.
Yeah. You know what we should do? We should all watch Footloose tonight and figure out how they beat the system.
I've never seen it before.
Oh, boy.
No, but spoiled. But I can still watch it.
I have to say, I was also in the musical in Minneapolis for Footloose.
You were in the Footloose musical?
I was.
Did you play the girl that Kevin Bacon?
No, I was not a lead. So loud.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for sports, brought to you by the Marquee Network. Stream Cubs baseball at watchmarquee.com.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, watching the Cubs, streaming them on Marquee Network, they won a series. Beat the Angels 5-0 yesterday, and that is the first time in 5 tries winning a series. Been a rough stretch, man. I won
the series. Be happy.
I got to say, I was at the game. I had a family in town from Philadelphia, my wife's family. Went to the Cubs-Phillies game on Wednesday night, which, again, Cubs had the game till the 7th. And then if they just stop these games at the 7th inning, it'd be wonderful for the Cubs. And they all fell apart. But I got to say, I got embarrassed because there were so many out-of-town Philly people there. They started cheering, "Let's go Phillies!" And it was loud in Wrigley Field. And I was like, "Oh!" And even though I'm with people, we kind of rotate. Harper had a Phillies shirt on because we have to rotate the baby. Because some days I get Cubs, and then some days Megan gets the Phillies. So I was with my Philly people here, my friends and family.
It was a win-win in that situation. Either you were going to be happy, they were going to be happy.
They were certainly happy, and then they were kind of like, wow. They couldn't even believe the Phillies' chance of a lot of people. But the Cubs did win on Thursday, so that rolled into the weekend where they ended up winning the series against the Angels. So, hey, not so bad.
Not so bad.
Not so bad.
Happy for it.
Cubs are at the Orioles tonight. By the way, Cubs reliever Colton Brewer is on the 60-day IL after breaking his hand after punching the wall of the dugout on Saturday after he gave up 3 runs.
Respect. Respect. I have a punching the wall fantasy that I've never been able to let play out before.
Would you want to break your hand?
No, that's the thing, is that in my fantasy I punched the wall, but everybody's like, wow, look at how tough he is, and he wasn't even injured.
Well, the wall doesn't stand a chance. It just collapses in your mind.
Yeah, no, but my fear is that in real life I would punch the wall and I wouldn't break it.
It'd be a bummer.
That's what would happen.
Now you're mad and embarrassed.
That's the worst combination.
Yeah.
I got to say, I'm sorry he broke his hand and he's gone for a couple months, but I do like the passion.
Oh, God, yeah.
If
you're going to lose, be a bad sport about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll show that you care.
Exactly. Thank you. This is all I've been asking.
He just can't play the rest of the season pretty
I know.
much.
That's the crazy thing is it's the 60-day IL. He's done for the year, basically.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Now, the bullpen hasn't been good. I'm not saying I want anybody to get hurt. I'm just saying that hopefully he comes
if
back.
They make it to the World Series will be held in time.
No, like that optimism.
There you go.
The White Sox lost to the Marlins 7-4 yesterday, but that's not, again, the whole story because they got that dog in them. They were in that game. They had the game against the Marlins. And then Case, who was texting me during the NASCAR race. I was down at the NASCAR race and I was looking at the White Sox car. And I sent him a picture. I go, look at this. Hey, the White Sox car. They might win. I wonder who's going to win this one. The White Sox might win. He goes, you're not paying attention to the White Sox game right now, are you? And I go, nope, I'm at the NASCAR race. And he told me what happened.
Oh. Yeah. You know, Michael Kopech, who I'm sure is a lovely guy, comes in and does what Michael Kopech does, which is lose games for White Sox. He got a 4-3 lead going into the ninth. The Marlins ended up tying the game, and then they had 2 runners on. I should note that he slipped and fell on the mound again.
Oh, God, it's so slippery. They got to work with some grips out there.
That's the thing about dirt, is that it's so slippery.
Oh,
Remember when, obviously, Derrick Rose, the MVP year, and he got injured, and a lot of people blamed his Adidas, which I was an Adidas guy back then.
3-stripe life.
Oh, my God. And they blamed his shoes.
Did you fall a lot?
I fall a lot and Derrick Rose fell a lot.
Yeah.
That's right.
I knew one and the same.
Adidas.
Because most people had a Nike deal and he had Adidas, and people blame that for his downfall.
Yeah, literally.
So he slipped on the mound again, which helped Cleveland win last week in walk-off fashion. This put the winning runs on second and third when my old friend, ex-White Sox Jake Berger, who the White Sox traded to Miami last year, came up to the plate and he did this.
Run at third, and Berger drives it deep to left center. Give me that Berger to go.
That's awesome.
It's a walk-off win.
Oh, God.
That's great.
I got to say, the opposing announcers of the White Sox are really making their demo tapes awesome this year.
I know.
Well, imagine. That's the thing. Imagine if you're playing the White Sox and you're an announcer. You're like, okay, well, I know my team's going to score a ton of runs. They're going to make all these awesome plays in the field. Our team might not make it to the World Series. This is my World Series demo tape right now.
I feel like then they get the time to look at everyone's last names and just come up with stuff. He did not come up with that on the spot.
I remember
He's been waiting to say that for weeks.
I mean, remember Wednesday when they played the Guardians and Lewis Robert Jr. didn't throw the ball to home plate?
Yeah.
It's the best.
This announcer has this for his demo tape.
3-2. In the air. Is it deep enough? Yes. Robert makes the catch. Here comes Jimenez. No throw. Guardians win it.
Lewis Robert didn't throw the ball. No throw. I've never heard an announcer say that in the history of watching baseball.
He never thought he'd say it.
The thing about baseball is that they're always throwing it.
Yeah.
It sounded like a dog command. Like, he didn't even have all the words. You couldn't believe it. Like, no throw.
No throw.
And so, like, he's not throwing the ball. Like, he couldn't even get it out because it just doesn't seem real.
Can we hear the Jake Berger call one more time? I want to make sure everybody appreciates just how locked in this Marlins announcer was on the Jake Berger walk-off home run.
And Berger drives it deep to left center. Give me that Berger to go. It's a walk-off win.
I'm from Chicago, but I'm happy for him. It's awesome.
This could have been us. Jake Berger was in our system.
Yeah.
Amen.
They threw him away for nothing. They got basically a guy that played for one game.
They let that Burger go. You know what I'm saying?
And it prevented the Cubs from making the playoffs last year.
That's right.
Which I predicted when they traded him that this would somehow come back on the Cubs, and it did.
Because the Marlins got in the playoffs.
And now the Marlins are the second worst team in baseball behind the White Sox. I don't know how that happened.
It was really conflicting for me because I love burgers, and for him to block the Cubs, it's been hard to get my mind around to be angry at the word burger.
Let me settle it for you. You can still love burgers.
Okay.
Just because of Jake Berger.
It's just a lot.
I know. Some therapy will
I've
help out.
never had these kind of emotions towards the burgers. There's just been happiness.
NASCAR race yesterday. Alex Bowman won Sunday's Grant Park 165. A lot of rain delay. They didn't finish. They had 58 laps instead of 75. I was down there. It was wild seeing these cars go through the city.
Was it like Talladega Nights? Were people taking their tops off and stuff? Does that happen?
People took their shoes and socks off.
That's different.
It is different.
I wouldn't have been like, I don't feel like that's adjacent.
I'm just saying I'm a feet person.
Yeah, you're a foot guy.
I'm a foot guy, but not
walking around with a boner.
Not there. No, I was not. I was not happy about it. Keep your shoes and socks on, even though it's raining. Here is the win call on that one. It was great.
Alex Bowman has won at Chicago.
Hell yeah, buddy! That's what I'm talking about. Hell of a job, brother.
We should all have walkie-talkies, so throughout the day we can just yell at each other like that. Kenzie, good job there. I see you in the jewel over there. God, great job.
Nope.
Yes.
No.
Like those, remember the Sprint Nextel phones?
Yeah.
When you get on the walkie-talkie?
Well, your Apple Watch. Do you have an Apple Watch?
I don't.
Oh, it has the walkie-talkie feature.
Yeah, the government's tracking me on that. I'm not using it.
No, absolutely not. Stand your ground,
You're
Brian.
just cheap as hell. You just don't want to buy one.
I really don't. I like real watches. I like old school watches.
It's a real watch.
I understand, but I like the look of a real watch. Old.
See how he talks down on me, Casey? Did you hear that?
No, I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking down.
I like real watches.
That wasn't against
What's a
you.
watch?
It was against a digital watch. I like a good old school stainless steel watch.
How can you tell what time it is?
The hands are on it. It's right
you
there.
gotta count the dashes? No,
It's
thank
so
you.
tough to figure out time on a real watch.
Like 1, 2. Can I tell you something that happened to me?
Oh boy.
Is it really? There's a new thing. So you know that let me make sure I'm not a robot test when you have to click all the images.
Yeah.
Some of them now have an old school clock, and to find out you're not a robot, you have to say what time it is on the clock.
Ah.
I failed it 3 effing times.
Well.
But I was really getting concerned because I'm like, you know what? It is effing 6:30. What the hell's going on here? I felt a lot of relief because what I realized I was doing, I was typing in 6:30, like 6.30, right?
Sure.
You had to put a 0 in front of the 6. I just kept failing. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I know how to do this, damn it.
Now I know what to get you for Christmas. A real watch with stainless steel, no digital.
I don't want to count the clicks.
You're going to have to. Otherwise, you're not going to get past the robot stage there asking to go in. By the way, Alex Bowman said the most amazing thing after he won the NASCAR race in Grant Park yesterday.
Alex Bowman.
Whoops, that's not it. This is it. Alex, go ahead.
We're going to drink so much damn bourbon tonight. It's going to be a bad deal. I'm probably going to wake up naked on the bathroom floor again.
If I had a nickel.
I love how he says again.
Well, yeah.
I want to hear the first
He's
story.
a winner.
Yeah. Drank all that bourbon naked on the floor again. Yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and filling in for Lauren today is Dougie Styles.
Man, NASCAR this weekend, huh?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, though, phenomenal for the city. This morning, though, I live right by Soldier Field. Coming to the studio here, we're in the NBC Tower. Horrible. Usually takes me 6 minutes. Took me 47 minutes to get here this morning because, Lakeshore Drive.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Well, you live in Elgin. I live 3 blocks away. Lakeshore Drive is still closed. Michigan Avenue is still closed. So, yeah, if you're in your car right now, I was with you. And, Kay says, Waves, do they sponsor the show at all?
Waves?
Waves, the app?
Waves, no, they do not.
All right, it sucks because it took me to 4 different roads that were closed this morning.
You think Waze would just take you onto the NASCAR track to get over here?
Exactly.
It's the fastest way to go.
I don't
Right?
understand why all these streets are shut down. They had cars on them yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good
It doesn't
point.
make any sense to me.
Wow.
Well, it'll all be cleaned up in about 7 weeks, just in time for Lollapalooza.
Yeah, perfect. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it sounds like you were.
Yeah, I'm complaining. Yeah,
Well, obviously.
definitely. But I hate Waves. Sorry.
And Dougie's in for Lauren today, so stick around. Takeaways from you guys at 312-591-8300. Case, what do you got?
Alejandro from Justice checked in. Today's takeaway, this is America. Glizzy up or get out.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
Kenzie, what do you got?
630 texted in. Brian thinks Kenzie's a beached whale.
That's not
That's
true.
exactly what you said. That's exactly what you said
We'll
to
go
me.
back to the audio and make a montage of Kenzie calling herself a whale.
That's not what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Also, coming in from Paul 219, Kenzie's just here to chew gum and kick ass, and she's all out of gum.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble gum.
We've debated whether Case should watch They Live for his movie this week. Kenzie's opposed to it because it's a big, great movie, but
I think you should watch Footloose.
it's not a blockbuster movie. It's one of the greatest of all time movies. They Live, of a cult movie, but it's not a blockbuster. For example, Case hasn't seen The Godfather yet.
Or Rocky.
Yeah.
I just think there's things before They Live when we're talking about blockbuster movies.
We could probably get to They Live in 2026,
Got
probably.
it. We'll pencil that in then.
But I really want you to watch They
If you
Live.
watch Footloose, I can point out who I played in the musical.
And it wasn't a lead.
It was not a lead.
Not even close to a lead. All right, Case, what's on the podcast?
Well, we're going to blow Kenzie up like the whale in Oregon that was on the beach.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear you.
We're going to blow Kenzie up like the whale that was beachside in Oregon. Also, a lot of great text today from 4th of July was going great until Brian almost made somebody go to federal prison for a crime that he suggested they do regarding fireworks in the region. Tons of good stuff there, all on the Brian and Kenzie podcast.
Check it out wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Q101.com.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.